Imagine a cloudy day, and you're expecting the familiar sound of raindrops on your roof or skin. But as you step outside, something is very wrong. Instead of a cool shower of water, molten lava pours from the sky, transforming the very fabric of life on Earth. It's not a bizarre science fiction scenario. It's an apocalyptic world where lava, not water, falls from the heavens. How would our cities cope with such an extreme environment? Could life as we know it survive this infernal change, or would humanity be wiped out by the fiery onslaught? In this scenario, we'll explore the devastation, survival strategies, and ultimate impact this terrifying transformation would have on life, civilization, and the planet as a whole. To grasp the scale of this catastrophe, let's consider how such an event could occur. For molten lava to replace water in Earth's weather cycle, an immense change in the planet's geological processes would be needed. Imagine that the Earth experiences an extraordinary and continuous surge in volcanic activity. Hundreds of volcanoes would erupt simultaneously, spewing vast amounts of magma into the sky. Instead of water evaporating into the atmosphere, the intense heat would propel molten rock into the air, which then cools slightly before falling back to Earth. In this world, the water cycle would cease to exist, replaced by a lava cycle. What if the Earth's atmosphere became so saturated with ash that rain clouds no longer formed in the way we've come to understand? What if heat levels became so extreme that even solid rock could be molten enough to fall as liquid lava from the skies? Could the balance of nature handle this fiery onslaught, or would it destroy life altogether? The arrival of molten lava from the sky would have immediate and catastrophic effects on all forms of life. Imagine the rain that sustains crops, rivers, and forests, now replaced by a burning flood from the sky. What would happen to forests, fields, and even the delicate balance of the planet's ecosystems? First, all vegetation would be decimated. Trees and plants, which form the basis of the planet's food chains, would burn in an instant. Crops that humans rely on for sustenance would be turned to ash and charred remnants. Forests, home to countless species, would be reduced to wastelands. The direct effects on wildlife would be equally disastrous. Animals, unable to adapt to the extreme heat or find refuge from the lava rain, would face extinction. Birds would fall from the sky, their feathers disintegrating in the molten rain. Terrestrial animals, too, would have nowhere to hide. Even the most heat-resistant species would be overwhelmed. Would any species survive this apocalyptic shift? Or would we be left with a barren world, devoid of life? What about marine life? When lava begins to pour into the oceans, a violent chain reaction would occur. The oceans themselves would heat up to dangerous levels, creating superheated steam explosions. Entire marine ecosystems would collapse in mere moments. Could marine creatures withstand this brutal transformation? Or would entire species vanish under the deluge of molten rock? Our cities, monuments to human ingenuity, would be reduced to rubble within days. Buildings made of concrete, steel, and glass, materials that humans have used to construct homes, offices, and other vital structures, are no match for the blistering heat of lava. As molten lava falls from the sky, concrete would crack and turn to dust, steel would warp and melt, and glass would shatter into fiery shards. Transportation networks, such as roads and railways, would disintegrate. Cars would melt into the ground, while trains would be reduced to twisted wrecks. The same fate would await airplanes, as no aircraft could withstand the searing heat of lava-filled skies. Airports would be rendered useless, with runways cracked and melted under the fiery assault. Urban centers like New York, Paris, or Tokyo, cities teeming with life and commerce, would be utterly unrecognizable. Skyscrapers would be consumed by the molten rain, and streets would become rivers of fire. Major landmarks around the world, from the Eiffel Tower to the Great Wall of China, would crumble under the oppressive heat. Could these cities ever be rebuilt, or would they become nothing more than ruins of a past civilization? The global effects of lava rain would be catastrophic. The hydrological cycle, the process that drives the movement of water through the environment, would collapse. Rivers, lakes, and oceans would either evaporate or be filled with hardened lava, making the water supply nearly non-existent. In a world where lava rains from the sky, how would the planet sustain itself? What would happen to Earth's most precious resources if water could no longer circulate through the environment? The environment itself would be in turmoil. As lava spreads across the Earth, volcanoes would intensify, earthquakes would shake the planet, and violent storms would become commonplace. With the atmosphere filled with ash and smoke, sunlight would be blocked out, plunging Earth into a perpetual state of darkness. This volcanic winter would send the planet into extreme cold, while certain regions, particularly closer to the equator, would become dangerously hot. Humanity's food supply would be decimated. Without crops to harvest or wild game to hunt, mass starvation would become a reality. With temperatures fluctuating wildly between scorching heat and frigid cold, agriculture would be impossible in many regions. Could humanity find new ways to adapt to a changing planet? Or would we succumb to the harsh reality of our fiery new world? In this world of lava rains and unrelenting heat, survival would require quick thinking and innovation. The first step for any survivors would be to seek refuge underground. Governments and wealthy elites would likely retreat to underground bunkers built with the most advanced heat-proof technology. These bunkers would need to be equipped with water filtration systems, renewable energy sources, and extensive food supplies to survive the planet's apocalyptic conditions. Agriculture would have to move underground as well. With the surface no longer safe, underground greenhouses would become humanity's new breadbasket. But these underground farms would need to be protected from lava flows that might infiltrate even the most secure bunkers. Could we adapt agriculture to this new reality, or would Earth's food chain collapse? Energy production would also face a new reality. Fossil fuels might become obsolete, with geothermal and solar power being the only reliable sources of energy left. With entire ecosystems ravaged and temperatures too extreme to rely on traditional methods, could humanity's technological prowess help us survive? Or would we ultimately be driven to extinction by a planet that no longer welcomed life? The rise of lava rains would force humanity to rethink the entire structure of civilization. With society in chaos, how would governments and economies function in a world that's literally on fire? The economic systems that once relied on agriculture, tourism, and manufacturing would collapse. Resources like food, water, and shelter would become the most valuable commodities. The wealthy might retreat to fortified cities or underground bunkers, while the rest of humanity would face the brutal, fiery reality above. This divide could lead to widespread unrest. Would global cooperation become possible? Or would societal divisions deepen as survival became more important than ever before? In a world where survival depends on technology, the rich would likely control the key resources, including heat-proof materials and advanced shelter designs. But would the growing inequality lead to a new class of rebels, fighting for survival and access to life-saving technology? Would humanity's sense of unity survive, or would it fracture into factions? Despite the devastation, Earth might eventually recover. Over centuries, the lava that falls would cool and solidify, forming new landmasses. The planet's tectonic plates would shift, creating new continents and reshaping the global map. Volcanic islands would rise, while old continents might sink beneath the weight of molten rock. Could new ecosystems emerge in this volatile environment? Would life adapt to the fiery conditions, evolving in new and unimaginable ways? Extremophiles, microorganisms capable of surviving extreme heat, might become the foundation of new ecosystems. These resilient organisms could pave the way for new life forms to thrive, even in this harsh, molten world. Could humans, too, adapt to this fiery planet, or would we fade into the history books as a species unable to survive in a world of lava rains? This thought experiment serves as a stark reminder of how fragile our planet is and how dependent we are on water. If lava replaced water in the skies, how would you prepare for such an apocalypse? Could humanity find a way to thrive, or would this fiery transformation be our downfall?